அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம்.
வணக்கம்.
We are in the 7th edition of the monthly talk series in English on behalf of International Thirukkural Foundation, Mauritius, represented by Dr. Argum Parasuraman, Tamil Vadachi Mandram, represented by Chandrika Subramaniyan, Valai Tamil, represented by Sardi, and I am Rajendran on behalf of Voice of Vallur family. Welcome all of you to this 7th edition of this monthly talk series. International Thirukkural Foundation started in association with the Tamil Vadachi Mandram and conducted earlier 4 international conferences physically in 4 different places, that is starting from Kanyakumari, Sydney, Liverpool, and UNESCO New Delhi. After this 4 series of conferences, it was felt by Dr. Argum Parasuraman. Now the time has come to, in view of this pandemic situation, go out with a lecture series in English and invite scholars from all over the world, from different walks of life, both Tamil and non-Tamil, connecting Thiruvallur and his work to the world peace. UNESCO operates with the tagline, building peace in the minds of men and women. So how do we build peace, and how Thirukkural can be useful for that, and how do we take Thirukkural to UNESCO through the support of Government of Tamil Nadu and Government of India. So in this series, this series was envisioned by Dr. Argum Parasuraman and ably supported by everyone, especially Valai Tamil Sardi, Dr. Chandrika Subramaniyan, and all the members of Voice of Vallur family. This was all started with the first edition on Thiruvallur Day 2021, and the inaugural speech was delivered by Honorable Mr. Justice R. Mahadevan. He spoke on universality of Thirukkural. And the second one was addressed by me, connecting the preamble of UNESCO Constitution and the core theme of Thirukkural. And the third one was Law and Justice in Thirukkural by Mr. Sellathambi Srikantaraja from UK. And the fourth one was a very eminent professor, Dr. P. Marudhanayagam. He spoke on Thirukkural as World Book. And the fifth meeting was addressed by Dr. N.V.K. Ashraf, Vice President of Wildlife Trust of India, New Delhi. And his address was centered around Thirukkural as a universal scripture, that claim, criteria, and expectation. He delivered a brilliant speech comparing the world literature, the world religious literature, religious scriptures, and it was an excellent speech. And thereafter, Dr. R. Balakrishnan, an Indus researcher and an able administrator, currently chief advisor to the same office of Honorable Chief Minister of Odisha. He connected the developmental goals of Thiruvallur with the development goals of UN. That was an excellent speech. How we need to address first the poverty issue, then education, then health. He touched upon all the areas. In this series today, we have with us one of the co-hosts, also playing the role of chief guest today, Dr. Chandrika Subramaniyan. More about her will be said by Dr. Argum Parasuraman. But briefly, I need to mention 2 points. Though by profession she is an eminent lawyer, solicitor, and barrister, basically her approach is conciliation, arbitration. That is whatever the qualification she is added, whatever the experience she is having, is arbitration. As we all know, Mahatma Gandhi was a great conciliator. All disputes can be tried through conciliation. There is no need of confrontation. That is her approach. And today she is going to deliver her address on emotional intelligence in Thirukkural and pathway to peace and harmony. How it is going to help, how are you going to address this emotional intelligence issue? All these things you're going to deliver today. So with these few words, I once again welcome all of you to this 7th edition of this monthly talk series. And I request Dr. R. Parasuraman, was the education minister and had a very good spell in UNESCO, both in headquarters as well as in India and elsewhere. I request him to chair this meeting today and deliver his inaugural address. And also, I request him to introduce formally the speaker to the audience. Thank you, sir. Dr. R. Parasuraman.
Mr. Rajendran, thank you for your continued support to this global initiative from the Voice of Valluvar. I would like to reiterate the welcome on behalf of the International Thirukkural Foundation, the Tamil Valarichi Mandram, Australia, the Voice of Valluvar family, and also Valai Tamil, to welcome all of you to this 7th conference. I'm glad that we started on the Valluvar Day in January, as Mr. Rajendran told us. With Justice Mahadevan, we've conducted 6 webinars, and this is the 7th one. And we are very happy and privileged to have Dr. Chandrika Subramaniyan as the chief guest and the speaker today. She has chosen a very interesting, modern, and new emerging theme to connect Thirukkural with it, to give us an insight of a reflection of the works is done, the research is done on Thirukkural and emotional intelligence, pathway to peace and harmony. So we are very honored to have you, Dr. Chandrika Subramaniyan. I'll be introducing you in a few minutes. Let me just give a gist of the mission we've embarked ourselves since a few years with various international conferences on Thirukkural for world peace and UNESCO for world peace. But since January, in view of COVID, we decided to go online. We didn't want to keep on waiting until COVID is over. So we started that, and it was auspicious to start it on Valluvar Day in January this year, because that was the blessing we got. And from there on, it's moving smoothly. So we've reached now the 7th conference, 7th of the series. And so let me briefly say that the whole vision we have is that we have chosen the overarching theme of Thirukkural and UNESCO for world peace. You know, since we know how powerful Thirukkural is, how enlightening it is, but we've chosen it to connect it with UNESCO, because UNESCO in its constitution, in the preamble itself, at the beginning it says, since war begins in the minds of men, it is in the minds of men that the defenses of peace will be constructed. And UNESCO, therefore, global mission is building peace in the minds of men and women. And that's why we feel that we are convinced that Thirukkural can make a good contribution together with UNESCO to contribute to global peace. And therefore, the whole idea, I know it has been advocated in India, that Thirukkural should be declared a book of national literature. This movement has been there, and we hope this will evolve. And once we get that, that will be another stronger major landmark, because then what we are doing now with this series of international conferences is to go to UNESCO. Once COVID is over, we'll be physically present at the UNESCO General headquarters in Paris, right? We had done the booking and so on, but the timing now will be adjusted accordingly. So the whole idea is for us to take Thirukkural and come forward with all the convincing arguments that so far we've had from the 6 conferences, and many more, with many voices also of eminent personalities, right? So that will join us together to bring the whole movement to UNESCO in Paris, and then we'll make a strong resolution that we, I don't need to argue all these points now, but I just to say that overall, it has been acclaimed that looking at, after making a careful and impartial survey of the great books of the world, it is clear that there are not many strong contenders for the title of the book of world literature, the book of the world, you know. So therefore, that's where we strongly believe that Thirukkural has a compelling claim for being declared national literature first in India and then world literature, which we consider to be titles long overdue. So that's the mission, that's the objective we have set in mind, and that's towards which we are, we are moving forward in all the various activity we are organizing. So let me welcome all the participants again to today's conference, and now I'll have the special privilege of introducing to you our chief guest today. Dr. Chandrika Subramaniyan is a pillar of this movement, because we had an international conference in Sydney, and then we discussed about how do we take it forward with COVID. She launched the first webinar, the first international virtual conference, from Sydney, and we started that in January. And she is part of the organizers, co-organizers of this conference, together with Voice of Valluvar and Valai Tamil. So I just would like to introduce to you Dr. Chandrika Subramaniyan. She is a solicitor and barrister of the Supreme Court and High Court of Australia, fellow Asian Centre for Arbitration. She has a very high profile in the area of arbitration, and she is nationally accredited mediator, accredited family dispute resolution provider. I'm sure you're using Thirukkural to get all these negotiation, mediation, right? Because you have all the answers there to get these resolved. And a great academic, a speaker and community leader, advisory member in many boards in Australia, Asia, Pacific, and India, and certified blockchain advisor, multiple experiences that she has, which is unique and rare. And I'll continue with, I won't mention all a long list of qualification, but just would like to share with you that she holds a Doctor of Philosophy in Communication, University of Madras, and a Master of Arts in Master Communication, again, University of Madras, and a Bachelor of Arts, English Literature, again, University of Madras. But he has a certificate in International Humanitarian Law and also Masters in Law, specialization, again, in Dispute Resolution and International Trade. And she also has a Bachelor of Law. So you could see the multiple expertise that she commands makes her, in various ways, a great personality in the field of competence. But most importantly, when I saw the profile, I must say that I will say something on that. But she's got the Premier's Harmony Medal winner, New South Wales State in Australia, Citizen of the Year 2019, Cumberland Council, Women of the West 2012, University of Western Sydney, Highly Commended Award 2011, Women Lawyers Association, Nominee Justice Medal 2009, Justice Foundation, she has written various, some 100 research papers on various topics, and 40 books have been written in Tamil and English, and her books on cyber law and cyber crime and women and media have received prestigious awards from Indian government and other universities. So you could see the profile of the person we are having with us today. And she's also very soon be publishing a wonderful publication on Kural. The title is Thirukkural, a Universal Guide. We expect to have this book published soon, and probably if the situation of COVID continues, we might have a virtual launch. But then the big launch will be at UNESCO Paris, Chandrika, when we go
Thank
to
you.
UNESCO.
Thank you.
Right? We'll do a proper release there. And so let me say that to conclude on my introduction, when I look at the profile of Dr. Chandrika Subramaniyan and the commitment that she has for Thirukkural, the amount of time and energy dedicated to that, I must say for her, it's a mission, it's a passion that she has. And she must have had a lot of blessings and inspiration from Valluvar for her to be delving so deep into this field. And I would say for a non-Australian origin, to get all the awards you got in that country, you are really a true, disciple of Thirukkural, because you give all the justifications that of what Valluvar says about being a universal person, a world citizen. So congratulations to you, ma'am, for all your achievements. And we pray that you will continue to have the same energy for many more years to come, to accompany us, and definitely to be with us in Paris when we go and take Thirukkural to the world. I have the pleasure and privilege now to invite you to address this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. நாவில் தமிழுடன் பிறந்தோம், வாழ்வில் தமிழுடன் வளர்ந்தோம். அந்த தமிழ் தாயின் பாதங்களை தொட்டு வணங்கி இன்றைய திருக்குறள் உரையை ஆங்கிலத்தில் நான் நிகழ்த்துகின்றேன். Respected Dr. Armugam Parasuraman, Dr. G. Balasubramanian from Tanjavur Tamil University, Mr. Rajendran, Mr. Parthasarathy, and all the other learned colleagues, Thirukkural lovers around the world. This is a great pleasure for me to present my topic, which I have been researching for the last few years. It started with 5 pages and now it has come to a level of 30 pages. Soon I think I should be able to do a book on this topic. Thirukkural is referred as Tamil Veda and needs no formal introduction in this forum, in which intellects, educationists, administrators, researchers, and Thirukkural lovers who have acquainted sufficient knowledge on the great work of Valluvar, who have been conversant and knowledgeable than me, whose scholarship being applauded around the world. It is a matter of surprise that my topic is a new area of study found in the modern world in recent century, which matches the great contribution of Valluvar's guidelines to the ancient society. The key concepts and themes. Overall archiving values of Kural is righteous way of personal life, socio-political life, and how the life must be followed for successful living. The couplets are categorically arranged. 40 couplets on God, rain, virtue, and aesthetics, 200 couplets on domestic virtue, 140 couplets on higher virtue based on grace, 250 couplets on royalty, 100 couplets on ministers of state, 220 couplets on the essential requirement of administration. In fact, these are very good lessons on management, governance, government, administration, and social skills. Then we have 130 couples on morality, both positive and negative, 250 couplets on human love, sex, and fervor. Universal. How it is universal? The growing popularity of Thirukkural can be ascribed to the definitive body of semantic knowledge it advocates around human virtues and values. In fact, the exposition of moral values in Thirukkural is more than the gorgeousness of the poetry itself. Kurals are nothing but universal truth. This makes it universal in application and acceptance. However, the most admired aspect is its clarity that addresses a wide range of issues and subjects impacting one's life, including ethics, governance, justice, charity, education, friendship, labor, truth, learning, love, sex, marital life, etc. No literary work can be compared to Thirukkural in terms of brevity, simplicity, and content intensive, yet covering the universal values without compromising the essence of goodness, which needs to be spread for the betterment of human values and for us to live in a better world. As an ethical guide, Thirukkural ethics towards the positive personality growth of an individual, being reflective of the social aspects experienced by people in all walks of life. The Kural gives sufficient proof that one can engage in domestic life with the guidelines in the couplets and yet follow a spiritual life. The entire world revolves around one's personal life, social life, and spiritual life. Thus speaks the Kural to guide individuals to achieve skills towards fulfilling their roles in this world. Kural emphasized that life skills are molded by individuals' inborn abilities, supplemented by environment stimulated acquired skills. Let us now see the life skills. Life skills are the abilities for adaptive and positive behavior and approach that constitutes the backbone of our personality, which enhances our overall development. It gives us the strength to meet the challenges and fight the fierce battle of the realities of the world, which is often harsh, raw, and cruel too. Life skills refer to a large group of psychosocial and interpersonal skills, which can help people make informed decisions, communicate effectively, and develop coping and self management skills. These are modern concepts, and how did a person in an ancient world like Tiruvalluvar, could think about this? Again, his communication is crisp and concise, yet effective and persuading, bypassing all the differences across culture, communities, and time. Success of any literature lies in its effective communication and readership. Thirukkural has passed the test over a period of centuries, establishing its strength of universality. Coming back to life skills, as I mentioned, life skills include cognitive, personal, and interpersonal abilities that help us to in critical and creative thinking in making most productive decisions as situation demand. These skills facilitate the transition process of human life in accepting the challenges and countering them successfully as the integral part of the society. The modern forms of challenges that we encounter are now, there's no way similar to the ones that were faced by people of ancient days. The challenges anyone confronts in today's life certainly help to gain skills and knowledge as integral part of self, complementing one's ability to the existence. Thus, the knowledge and experience gained in our day-to-day life's challenges influences our proactive behavior. This is evident in the quality of decisions we make and actions we take in various circumstances to keep things under control. Most of us are blessed with natural skills to exist in this world. We cannot deny the fact that our knowledge and skills are strengthened by our education, experience, and intelligence we apply. The application of intelligence is addition to the education and experience leads us to make many more effective decisions. This intelligence differentiates education and knowledge. We need to understand that all those who have education cannot be considered as knowledgeable. Academic information differs from professional experience. Assessing the scenario, identifying the issues, and taking the best approach in intelligence, simply intelligence is the ability to acquire and apply knowledge and skills. Intelligence can be defined in many different ways, as different researchers have emphasized different aspects of intelligence in their definitions. Based on those definitions, adaptation was drawn upon to identify the process of intelligence, focusing several cognitive processes such as perception, learning, memory, reasoning, and problem solving. selective combination of these cognitive processes evolved as intelligence. American developmental psychologist Howard Gardner's proposed theory of multiple intelligence distinguish intelligence into specific modalities. The model classifies human intelligence under categories like natural intelligence, musical intelligence, logical mathematical intelligence, existential intelligence, interpersonal intelligence, body kinesthetic intelligence, linguistic intelligence, intrapersonal intelligence, spatial intelligence. Based on these categories, Daniel Goleman, a science journalist, introduced a new concept known as emotional intelligence, which is also identified as EI, which refers to the capability of a person to manage and control his or her emotions and possess the ability to control the emotions of others as well. In other words, one person's emotions can influence the emotions of other people. The term emotional intelligence considered as a very important skill in leadership, which was recognized initially in the mid-60s in a paper by Michael Beldock. Later, it gained popularity in 1995 by the great work of Daniel Goleman in his book titled Emotional Intelligence. What is emotion? The dictionary defines emotion as an affective state of consciousness in which joy, sorrow, fear, hate, or the like is experienced as distinguished from cognitive and volitional states of consciousness. Therefore, emotion is distinct from cognition, which is basically thinking. Also, emotion is different from desire, which is basically will or motivation. This makes it clear that states of minds differ, like affect, emote, cognition, thinking, volition, motivation. What is intelligence? It is interesting to note that approaches to define intelligence take different forms, and often they are based on the circumstances and outcome of such demanding circumstances. The definition most suitable to understand the intelligence is a set of cognitive abilities which allow us to acquire knowledge, to learn, and to solve problems. That's it. What is emotional intelligence? From both definitions, from intelligence and emotion, a common understanding of emotional intelligence can be drawn by combining two of the three states of mind, cognition and affect, or intelligence and emotion. The best definition of emotional intelligence is the ability to perceive emotions, to access and generate emotions, to assist thought to understand emotions and emotional knowledge, and to reflectively regulate emotions so as to promote emotional and intellectual growth. That is basically to live a peaceful life. This gives the basis for Goleman to bundle elements such as, he gives 4 or 5 elements as what's necessary for emotional intelligence. One is self-awareness. The second thing is self-regulation. The third thing is motivation, empathy, and social skill as part of emotional intelligence. Each of these elements can be explained as follows. Self-awareness is the capacity to introspect and the ability to recognize oneself as an individual, the ability to separate oneself from the environment and other individuals. It can also be explained as inner realization of person, how his or her emotions will be affecting those who are around. Precisely, self-awareness is one's awareness of his or her own strengths as well as weaknesses, and foreseeing the possible outcome of one's strengths and weaknesses can create. The second thing is self-regulation. A key part of the emotional intelligence is the ability to stop yourself from acting impulsively and keep destructive emotions in check and under control. Self-regulation helps a person to think prior to his or her speech or action. It plays a predominant role in regulating the accountability of a person. Self-regulation will have greater impact in a positive way in all the actions and words which will help to form the finest fabric of human relations and existence. The third thing is motivation, which will lead person to create impact and influence on others towards aiming and achieving the goals consistently. Motivation assists in setting an example to face challenges and address them successfully. The fourth item is empathy, will place a person in other person's shoes and make the person to get in another person's situation. This will result in respecting and accepting others as well as command respect from others. Effective relationship will assist in enabling one's social skills in building healthy relationship with others by effective communication. This will make the relationship productive and comfortable. EQ is not IQ. Emotional intelligence is not intelligential quotient. EQ is emotional intelligence is different from IQ, which is used to determine academic abilities and identify individuals with off the chart intelligence or mental challenges. So we should not get confused with EQ and IQ. Thirukkural's principles are relevant, applicable, and acceptable in present day context too. Thirukkural has no archaeological evidence to identify the exact time period, except the references of Thirukkural in other Tamil works, which assist us to estimate its time period as 200 BC. If Valluvar could think of emotional intelligence in those days, Daniel Goleman he has taken time in 1995 to identify such a skill needs to be in existence for world peace, which is really querying the human development when compared to Valluvar's intelligence. However, elements of emotional intelligence have been handled in various sections in this great work, Thirukkural. I intend to analyze the 2000-year-old Thirukkural to identify the modern concept of emotional intelligence, which came into existence in mid-90s. No one can deny that Valluvar has introduced many life skills in Thiruvallur. First, let us start with the elements of EQ. Self-awareness. The ancient Greek aphorism, know thyself, was later expounded by Greek philosopher Socrates. Know yourself and you will be known, is the Gospel of Thomas. Daniel Goleman describes self-awareness as it concerns knowing one's internal states, preferences, resources, and intuitions. The self-awareness cluster contains 3 competencies. Emotional awareness, recognizing one's own emotions and their effects. Accurate self-assessment, knowing one's strengths and weaknesses. Self-confidence, a strong sense of one's self-worth and capabilities. Self-awareness is achieved by wisdom according to Thirukkural. Chapter 43 of Thirukkural contains 10 couplets expanding on wisdom. He also adds the context of knowledge to further extend and strengthen the concept of wisdom. Chapter 43, it talks about possession of wisdom. Thiruvallur expands on wisdom and call it as a force or weapon which will protect one from all kinds of destructions and act as an inner fortress which no enemy can attack. Wisdom will harness the mind, diverting it from the wrong and directing it towards the right. Whatever the information being given by anyone, the one who possesses wisdom will be able to identify the truth. Wisdom will make one to speak well and conveys meaning clearly while gathering elusive information from when others speak. A person with wisdom will associate with the wise and maintain their relationship. Wisdom will guide a person to live harmoniously in the world. A wise person will foresee the future and fear to what needs to be feared. The wise will not be surprised by any unexpected or outrageous happenings as they foresee them in advance. Those who possess wisdom will possess everything in their life. The entire chapter and few other couplets enlighten on wisdom, how wisdom can help human beings and guide their decision-making capacity, how a person can enhance the capacity to gain knowledge individually, independently, and in relation to the society and in relation to the world. Wisdom, according to Thiruvallur, opens up self-awareness, directing a person to change in accordance with changes happening in the world. The knowledge needs to be severally and collectively applied when required. While such knowledge should assist a person to understand the changes and act accordingly, it should also guide to expect the unexpected. Therefore, wisdom should caution to avoid anything that is not going to assist favorably. Further, Valluvar says awareness should be created in protecting oneself, guided by knowledge. Finally, he concludes the chapter with the last couplet stating, one will become a complete personality only with the assistance of such knowledge. In addition, he quotes wisdom in the following couplets, as wisdom is one of the quality a king should possess in couplet 382, and a person with no knowledge will become a clay doll in couplet 407. Then he talks about self-regulation. Self-regulation, according to Daniel Coleman, is when emotions are running high in a person, which certainly cannot be ignored, but they can be carefully managed. Therefore, EQ principles adapt self-regulation by managing emotions. Valluvar has dedicated an entire chapter under the title Self-Control, detailing on regulating self. Chapter 13 talks about possession of self-control. Thirukkural gives importance to self-control by saying, self-control will elevate a person to the status of God. When self-control is absent, that person will be in deep darkness. One must cherish self-control as precious treasure. When a person acquires self-control by wisdom, he will confer honor and fame on him. A person who practices self-control will become stronger than a mountain. When a person be humble by controlling all kinds of emotions, adds priceless wealth. When a person restrains the five senses in one life, will find safe shelter for 7 births. One needs to control the tongue. If not, it may cause greater sufferings. A single inappropriate or hurting word will spoil all the goodness of a person. A wound caused by fire will soon heal, but scars created by harsh words will stay permanently. Further, Thirukkural possesses many couplets on anger management, which is again managing self. Couplet 303 says, whoever thy offender may be, forget thy anger. From anger springs a multitude of ills. Couplet 314 reflects the same. Doing good turns, put them to shame, thus chide the evil who do harm. Motivation. EQ suggests the third component as motivation. One needs to motivate self and others on a personal and social levels. Motivation is described in many ways, either as the personal drive to achieve or as to desire to improve or to meet certain standards. This means one needs to motivate self to achieve the desired goal. One who has skills of self-awareness or self-regulation, when lacks motivation, will lose all the efforts engaged in the progress of success. Knowledge is gained by the efforts in the process of learning and experience. Motivation is one that which needs to be applied to those efforts. Understanding the importance of efforts and appropriate skills to be employed, it is necessary to motivate those skills constantly. Thiruvallur has dedicated an entire chapter for motivation. Chapter 60 talks about possession of zeal. One who possesses zeal will possess everything in life. None other than possessing zeal can be greatest everlasting wealth. One who has enthusiasm will not regret the loss of any other wealth. Good fortune will outreach to accompany anyone who possesses abundant enthusiasm. A person's progress in life depends on the zeal that the person possesses. One who aims high in thought will be progressive in life. Strong, enthusiastic people will start firm even at the time of defeat. One cannot be proud without jealous spirit. Zealous spirit are not frightened of anything, even if it is huge and fiery. Without zealous mind, one will become like human form of vegetable. Then he talks about empathy. One who understands self, manages self, constantly motivates self and others when fail to empathize with others cannot successfully integrate with the society. World Health Organization 1993 defined empathy as an ability to understand others' emotions. Thirukkural has dedicated 2 chapters on identifying, recognizing, and acknowledging the emotions of the others and empathize with them when tasks are assigned. Couplets under the title Being Compassionate in chapter 21 and Compassion in chapter 58 infer the value of empathy. Chapter 25, Being Compassionate. People with compassionate views are considered as possessing most precious wealth. One should choose compassionately, follow the righteous path as prescribed by many faiths. One who is compassionate will not be threatened by the dark, distressed world. Evil will not afflict a person who compassionately fosters and protects all living beings. The compassionate people will never suffer. Those who are not compassionate will lack moral values. Anybody who is not compassionate will not end up in heaven. Merciless people will never prosper. Anyone practicing charity without mercy is like truthless person seeking truth. One should think about a person stronger than him before attacking a person weaker than him. Then in chapter 58, under the title Compassion, another chapter starts detailing about compassion. The world survives because of the existence of compassionate people. If one's eyes do not show compassion, they become useless and will be considered as wounds on face. A person without compassion is comparable to vegetables. The entire world belongs to the people who are kind to others and do their duty unfalteringly. Being compassionate and patient, even with those who hurt us, is most admirable quality. Kind people will behave calm even at times when someone poisons them. Anyone not being compassionate with others will become burden to the earth. People who are compassionate and considered as possessing most precious asset. The chapters handle various situations where one should understand the emotions of others, empathize towards, and compassionately handle any situation to derive favorable outcomes. This leads us to think about the effective relationship part of it. Effective relationship becomes possibly only when a person understands and empathizes with others, thus making the relationship an everlasting one. One needs to maintain relationship with others in a positive manner to be successful in keeping friendship or relationship for lifetime. Wallowa dedicated many couplets to enlighten how to sustain relationship by respecting the other people. Chapter 90 talks about respect the great. Must respect the great people. If one does not respect the great people, or he or she will face miserable life. Those who do not respect and consult with mighty people will be heading towards self-destruction. If one challenges and disrespects the mighty people, will face an unpleasant end. Those who offend or provoke anger of mighty people cannot survive. When anyone infuriates a mighty person, his wealth and life will go waste. A mighty person's curse will ruin all the wealth, including the family of the offender. Offending a mighty person will cause a king and his state to lose the status. King cannot survive without blessings from the mighty people. In addition, following couplets enlighten that it is wise to maintain relationship with wise men. One should analyze the value of people with wisdom and associate with them. Couplet 441. Then couplet 443 says, it is worthy to have the company of great people and nurture their relationship. Thiruvallur has included many couplets on various skills in chapter 79. Some of them are interpersonal relationship. We'll speak about relationship management at the end of this speech. Chapter 80, testing of fitness of friendship. Chapter 81, long-standing intimacy. Chapter 82, the friendship that injures. And chapter 83, false friendship, where extensive account on healthy relationships are detailed, which will be of assistance to maintain peaceful relationship. Each couplet in Thirukkural is complete by itself and interrelated with many other couplets as well. These couplets, despite being an ancient work, deserves to be practiced in our day-to-day life, as it continues to be so much relevant even today in the technology-dominated modern area, where virtual interactions circumscribe human relationship. It is possible to quote and connect more couplets to explain the modern concept of emotional intelligence, considering the constraints of the space and time. I'm only limiting my kurals to certain important ones, which are precise and enjoyable, a limited number of couplets selected to suit the capacity of this speech. I would like to insist that emotional intelligence is critical to effective leadership, while it is equally essential for cultivating culture of peace. Social awareness. Empathy is a critical ability associated with social awareness, and it develops our ability to recognize the emotions of others, acknowledge them, share with them, and extend supporting energy towards others in the world to encourage peace. Empathy is a powerful and potentially transformative approach to connecting with another person in a way that promotes safety, security, and dignity, which in turn will establish peace and harmony in the world. Empathy, in other words, compassion, word compassion is detailed in chapter 58, which I already spoken. There exists the stupendous beauty called compassion, and therefore the world exists in harmony, says Kural 571. It is compassion that keeps the world functioning the way it should. There are those who lack it, and they burden the Mother Earth by stressing. Couplet 572. Of what use is a tune that cannot suit any song? Of what use are eyes which have no compassion? 573. An eye that is not abound with compassion, what purpose it's serving the face, faying existence? 574. Eyes are adorned by compassion, but for it, they would be considered wounds, are some of the couplets which needs to be understood in terms of world peace. Trees rooted to the land, they resemble those, though born with eyes, don't use them, be compassionate. Those who lack compassion have no eyes, who truly have eyes cannot lack compassion. These are some of the things which in that same chapter, which talks about the compassion component of it. And unless you are compassionate with the other people, the world can never achieve any peace and harmony models to represent a peaceful world. The world belongs to those who do their duty unfalteringly while being compassionate. And he gives more messages in that particular chapter, chapter 57, about compassion. Then he talks about social awareness requires that we not only acknowledge that emotions are essential elements of an individual, but that also embrace our emotions and those of others in the world. Then comes the relationship management, which is very important, very essential for world peace. Social awareness is recognition of other emotional experiences And relationship management is where the role of assuming responsibility takes place. When a key element of our identity is challenged, we perceive some form of injustice has occurred, or we have a perception of unfairness or disrespect, which in turn will destabilize the peace and harmony of the world. If we use our mind and if we use our wise decision making skills, we will understand where we are heading. Relationship management cultivates peace by functioning as a course correction tool that moves the individuals and the institutions back to a space of security and dignity whenever something within the system is deviated or when an individual within the system behaves in a manner that causes destructive disruptions. Relationship management requires courage to assert oneself into a role of mentor, coach, influencer, etc., and the vulnerability to create a space of safety and security. It requires that we are able to authentically experience our own emotions, be willing to learn into emotions of others, and operate with an open heart and open mind and from a place of compassion for the world to survive peacefully. So Tirukkural has taught us many things such as self-awareness, empathy, effective communication, interpersonal relationship, problem solving, decision making, critical thinking, creative thinking, coping with emotions, coping with stress, what all necessary for inner peace, societal peace, and world peace. The skills of effective communication are given in the following 10 Tirukkural. One is 97, couplet 97, which talks about fruitful, polite, and pleasant words beget happiness and fortunes. And 200, couplet number 200, which talks about always utter fruitful words, never utter futile words. 643, which says, what holds the audience spellbound and reach others and make them long for is a speech. 645, which says, select and speak only words not excelled by other words. 646, which says, code of spotless men is to say what is desirable and grasp them others what is useful. Then 650, which says, who cannot express their love to others are like bunch of scentless flowers. 712, which says, men of eloquence judge and speak words to suit the time and listeners' moods. 719 says, who speaks good things well in a learned council, speak not even forgetfully before the ignoble. 722, who binds the learned with low acquainted in a learned among the learned. 729, the scholar who dreams an august assembly is inferior to the ignorant certainty. The skills of interpersonal relationship is given in certain kural. 100, which says using bitter words instead of pleasant words is like preferring unripe fruits to ripe ones. 441, which says value merit of men with moral and sagacity and secure their amity. 450, which says 10 times worse to lose good friends than to face countless foes. 460 says no support is better than good company, no misery is worse than bad company. 579 says showing kindness and patience even to those who hurt is the chief of virtues. 789, friendship lies in unwavering ways and helps in all possible times. 793 says one's nature, lineages, flaws, and relationship knows them and make friends. 795 says, seek men who may make you feel, reprove errors, and teach you the right ways. 803 says, what is the intimacy if chum accepts not acts done through liberty as their own acts? 807 says, true and old friends in steadfast love, though harm won't cease to love. Then there are 10 more kural I'm trying to quote, which are meant for problem solving skills. 121, self-control will place one among gods, like if it sinks one in a life of evils. 127, control your tongue, if not anything otherwise, a slip of tongue brings evils. 151, chief of virtues is to bear with revelers, just as the earth bears its diggers. 190, if everyone sees his faults as he sees others, will any evil fall on living beings? 181, though one ignores virtue and does evil, it is good not to backbite others. 305, to guard yourself, keep wrath at bay, unchecked, ire with yourself slay. 471, weigh the act your own might, force, might, analyze, might, and proceed straight. 531 says, forgetting one's duties, excessive happiness is worse than wrath in excess. 621 says, laugh away the trouble when it comes, nothing equals it to conquer pains. 691, move with moody king as with fire, neither too far nor too near. By quoting these skills, Thiruvallur is strengthening our ability to cope with all the problems as one can handle emotional intelligence to conquer his workplace or his professional duties. This will be a good guidance for anybody to manage the world, the relationship, and keep peace and harmony in place. Thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity. The quote I have given is from Reverend Dr. G.U. Pope's edition and Project Madurai. Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Excellent presentation, Dr. Chandrika.
Thank you.
You've given us a lot of emotions also with emotional intelligence. And really wonderful insight, wonderful reflection on how we can connect Thirukkural in that way with emotional intelligence and how it can lead to peace and harmony. I know you cherish this concept of world peace and harmony, and your presentation was very enlightening. I would like to thank you and congratulate you for that. I'm sure all the participants join me in conveying their congratulations to you. Keep it up.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah.
As I mentioned to you earlier, we are waiting impatiently for Dr. Chandrika to release her book, Thirukkural, a universal guide. Right? Once it is ready, you'll be informed accordingly. Well, I think now I'll leave the floor for members, participants to ask questions, right? And feel free, so I leave the floor to you now.
Thank you.
Mr. Rajendran will recognize Veni, Dr. Veni from Mauritius. She is a great supporter of our movement together with Sandana Bellion. Veni, you have a question, Veni, or an appreciation for her?
I'll just say vanakkam to all of you. And it was really a wonderful opportunity to listen to Dr. Chandrika. It was, one could see the great hard work that has been put in. And really, it was a great speech.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Anybody else would like any? Mr. Soma Virappan.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Here it's India, it is good evening. Dr. Chandrika's approach naturally is that of an advocate. She is advocating Thirukkural, and we have heard about intelligent quotient. We have heard about the friendship quotient, and the most important thing in life is emotional quotient, emotional intelligence quotient. And I was wondering, I have a Thirukkural book with me. As and when she was telling the numbers, I was looking at the particular kural. Innumerable kural she has quoted. Innumerable. And that really reflects the type of hard work she has taken. And this is another step towards our achieving the goal, I think. We have moved one more mile towards our goal. Hearty congratulations, madam.
Thank you.
And I am a person who looks at Thirukkural as a management book. as a book for governance, as a book for administration. And you have quoted not from one chapter, across all the chapters, most of the chapters you have quoted. When you quote a particular subject, the numbers are not additional 5 or 6, which shows that it is from a different chapter altogether. You were telling the numbers, and for one subject there are so many kurals. I really enjoyed. I would like to have a copy of the numbers so that I will look at the exact kurals. You were of course telling the central meaning of those kurals. Hearty congratulations and best wishes. Sir, we are moving fast towards our goal. That is what I would say. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Soma Virappan. I would invite you, Mr. Soma Virappan. You just mentioned your areas of interest in Thirukkural. Why don't you think of making a presentation in due course?
We'll work on that. As I was suggesting in one of the previous programs, my view is that we must start from the destination and the reverse side. We must start we must go to UNESCO, their principles, policies. If this were to be accepted as a book from them, from their agenda, from their mission, vision statements, we should work. I will definitely try to work on that. It will be a real pleasant privilege.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll bear in mind what you suggested. Yes, we have any other? Dr. Ashraf?
Yeah. Thank you. I don't have particularly anything to say apart from that fact that one thing that permeated throughout her presentation was compassion. That I was just chatting with Mr. Rajendran through the course of our presentation. That we have a lot of compassion quotes coming in from Thirukkural, especially from chapter on Kannotam. So that is what I had to say. And you just told me that she is writing a book on Thirukkural of universal relevance, her applications. Looking forward to it, and I am sure she would have quoted all these couplets in her book in a structured manner so that people like us will be, every one of us will be benefited. Thank you for the opportunity. Nice listening to her.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Chandrika, would you like to say a few words now? And then we'll take some other questions.
Yeah. See, I have been doing a lot of work in this for the last 4 years, and I've presented on various occasions. But the time you have given was only few weeks. So it was a bit of a time constraint for me to fix it. What I had wanted to look at with the UNESCO's agenda, and I could collect something, but I could not fit into this presentation. As said by UNESCO Director General, peace is more than the absence of war. It is living together with our differences of sex, race, language, religion, or culture, which furthering universal respect for justice and human rights on which such coexistence depends. Peace is the most precious possession of humanity. That's what I wanted to connect with today's talk, but I could not spend more time on finding the couplets to support that. But that will be done when I finish the book. This chapter will be included, and I will be definitely doing a justification to my topic.
Thank you very much. We welcome that, and we look forward to it impatiently. And what you can do, Dr. Chandrika, you can elaborate further,
yes,
and give us your version later on. But the video recording of today's conference, as for the previous conferences, will be sent to all of you.
Yes,
so you have the collection there. I recognize my good friend, the Deputy Chairman of the International Thirukkural Foundation, T.M. Ponnambalam, who is an attorney and who has been actively participating in the various international conferences. Ponnam, would you like to say 2 words?
திருக்குறள்ல இருக்கக்கூடிய அறத்துப்பாடுல 38 அதிகாரத்தையுமே அங்கங்க தொட்டுட்டாங்க. ஒரு பறவை பார்வை போல, ஒரு கிட்டத்தட்ட ஒரு PhD அளவுக்கு இருந்தது. கையில சார் சொன்ன மாதிரி திருக்குறள் புத்தகத்தை கையிலேயே வச்சிருந்தேன். திருவள்ளுவர் ஒரு அதிகாரத்துல, எக்ஸாம்பிள் பொறையுடைமை அப்படின்னா அந்த பொறையுடைமை சம்பந்தமா, செல்ஃப் கண்ட்ரோல் சம்பந்தமா தான் சொல்லியிருப்பாங்க. ஆனா நம்ம சந்திரிகா மேடம் அந்த 10 குறள்ல பல்வேறு விதமான தலைப்புகள்ல இருந்து அங்கங்க தொட்டு கிட்டத்தட்ட 100 அதிகாரத்திற்கு மேல 1000 திருக்குறளுக்கு மேல எடுத்து ஒரு மிகச்சிறந்த ஒரு பறவை பார்வையும் தாண்டி ஒரு PhD அளவுக்கு அருமையா இருந்தது ஐயா. அவருடைய பேச்சு சொல்வதற்கு வார்த்தையே இல்லை. புத்தகத்துல உடைய பக்கங்களை பிரிக்கிறதுக்கே முடியல. இப்ப நல்லா ரீகால் பண்ண மாதிரி இருந்தது. எக்ஸலன்ட் ஸ்பீச், எக்ஸ்ட்ராடினரி ஸ்பீச். செவிக்கு உணவா இருந்தது. உணவு மட்டும் இல்ல, ஒரு அறுசுவையை தாண்டி இருந்தது. நிறைவா இருந்தது. வாழ்க வளமுடன். நன்றி ஐயா. நன்றி ஐயா.
நன்றி.
ரொம்ப அருமையா ரொம்ப அருமையா சொன்னீங்கம்மா. ரொம்ப உள்ளத்துல இருந்து அவங்க எப்படி சொன்னாங்களோ
உங்களுடைய கருத்தை தான் கேட்கறதுக்கு இருந்தேன் ஐயா.
இல்ல அவங்களும் தான் அந்த அம்மா சொன்னாரு. சார், can I say a few words?
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Rajendran.
Really, there was a lot of research has gone into the work connecting the modern theory of emotional intelligence with the Valluvar's teachings and finding the connect. It's not that trying to connect. It fits so naturally, and since she has seen both sides, and she could able to connect so many couplets as other speaker was mentioning before me. She could connect so many couplets, and if all these things are coming in a book form, perhaps this would be the first of its kind in English on Thirukkural. Really very good speech. Heartiest congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I would like to thank all of you, and I would make an appeal to all the participants. If ever you wish and you feel you can contribute to this debate, feel free to let us know, and accordingly we'll organize. We have a series of other speakers who have lined up to address us, and they will be delving into other topics that is related to the overall theme. And we are also expecting now, I've got his agreement in principle, the former Director General of UNESCO, Mr. Professor Federico Mayo, who was, I would say, the architect for promoting the culture of peace at the UN and at UNESCO. He has agreed to address us. I'm trying to find the right timing, and I think I will propose to him that he addresses us in September 23rd, I think, which is World Peace Day, right? World Peace Day would be probably the timing I would suggest to him, so that once he confirms, we'll go with that, just to make it symbolic, And he's already reading the Thirukkural. I've given him some materials. I'll be sending him some more, and if you agree, that will be a wonderful piece. And he will be one of the lead speakers when we go to UNESCO Paris, because this is from where he had germinated this concept of culture of peace, and he's very fond of quoting UNESCO preamble to the Constitution, building peace in the mind of man. If we can achieve that, I think we will make a better world. So, but we have also some other speakers. Dr. Ashraf is preparing another talk, and Dr. Balakrishnan also. We are soon going to listen to Dr. Subramaniyan, the Vice Chancellor of Tanjavur University. He was with us earlier, and he's also agreed, and we have programmed his talk. So all these will be coming up. But feel free, if you are interested, to join and contribute, either alone or with duo. Most welcome, right? Do let us know in advance, because we need to plan it and do it. Make sure we get good preparation for that. Then let me say that to introduce Partha to all of you. Partha Sarathy is a young, dynamic man whom I've got to know since last year in Chennai. He's spent a lot of time in US, but now he's back home. He wanted to come back to his motherland to give back. And he has set up the Valley Tamil organization, which is doing a lot of work in Tamil Nadu. He will make a presentation in due course about that. But you'll be pleased to know that he has developed a lot of initiatives which will provide us with more information and give us more knowledge about Thirukkural, Tamil culture, and so on. So he has developed a Tamil repository, or what he call one-stop solution for all Tamil-related search, including literature. And currently, Thirukkural Google search is #1 or 2 position across the globe. I'm quoting from him. The second one is, they are now mobilizing 1,200 SIDA doctors and supporting team of young research doctors to take it like traditional Chinese medicine to the world as a Tamil medical science used in the 2,500 years. So, and he also has developed a platform for Tamil business community to come closer using technology. He's a technology man and do export, import, and networking, and use Tamil as a key confidence and Tamil around business ethics. He has also developed an innovative software for Tamil spell checking used across the world. Valai Tamil is sponsored program for research and innovation, and it got Canada Literary Garden Award and Tamil Nadu's CM Kannini Tamil's award last year. He has institutionalized all the gaps. Valai Tamil Academy has institutionalized all the gaps that are not available in formal teaching in Tamil. These include spoken Tamil, regular Tamil classes, literature including Thirukkural, learning including Thirukkural, Tamil Isai, vocal music, all literary songs and Carnatic, Siddha literature, flute, and 15 such courses. All these are major Tamil innovation and contribution, which has been doing for the past 12 years, and doing it himself, self-funding. And I think we need to encourage, we need to commend him for that, and we need to support him also. Right? He should know that he's not alone. We won't leave him alone. We'll be with you, Partha. I have a lot of admiration and respect for the work you're doing. And
thank you, sir.
He's also promoting one thing which we will take forward in Mauritius. He is currently teaching Tamil for 11 countries, kids, adults, and research students. And they teach few autism kids and physically challenged kids in the US. And they are therefore developing teaching Tamil for abroad people. I have from Mauritius with us 2 eminent educators, Dr. Veni Tirumala-Chetty and Dr. Mrs. Sandana Velian. I have entrusted that to them to take your proposal forward in Mauritius, Partha. So this is just a brief introduction about this gentleman, young gentleman who will be one of the torch bearers. We'll hand over because now we are the seniors. I'm looking for young people who can take over. That's the future. Partha, on to you now.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for all your kind words. And this is the 7th event we had today. So we had so far we had 6 events completed, and today is the 7th, and we have all the events recorded and stored in the repository. Thanks for all your continuous support and all the participants who have been constantly attending this event and encouraging and providing your valuable feedback. And of course, as Dr. Parsuram sir said, so you can be a part of this event by presenting your Thirukkural related in English to take it to the world community. Today we had another great topic. So we have been selectively choosing the topic to align with the UNESCO World Peace to take the Thirukkural into the world book. Thirukkural and Emotional Intelligence, Pathway to Peace and Harmony is delivered by Dr. Chandrika Subramaniyan. So she's again done a wonderful speech today, and she has been, we have been hearing her in Tamil literature and various other topics, and today it was a very deep and very interesting topic that would have been touched many of you. Thanks to all the participants again. This we are getting people from across the world. Slowly they are onboarding to this major initiative. So you will have a link in the chat box, in the Zoom chat box. So here you can click and put your email ID, so that we will be communicating you all the recorded sessions as well as the future the upcoming events. So thanks for all your continuous support, and thanks Dr. Chandrika Madam for providing delivering the great speech today, and thanks Mr. Rajendran sir.
Thank you.
If you permit me, I have a small suggestion, sir.
Yes, Mr. Soma Vairappan.
Sir, when we are going to United Nations, we must make people speak from all the 5 continents. We have got people speaking from India, Asia. Today we have had a person from Australia, from across the globe, the other side of the globe. There are people who know Thirukkural in the other continents, say Europe, America, Africa. I think Rajendran sir and Valai Tamil people should be able to help, because when we are talking United Nations, it should be across the globe, I think. This is my humble suggestion, sir.
Very good.
Yes, sir.
So we are doing that. In fact, we are doing that, getting many speakers across the globe, and also not only those who are associated with Kural, but the broader community, because Thirukkural is universal, and we are gradually contacting various people. If you have some names, you can suggest to us. And Mr. Rajendran, Dr. Chandrika,
I think people who attended this international Tamil conference, we will have to find out from the database, and I think there should be people who would be happy to be associated. I will also work on along with Mr. Rajendran in this direction, and with
please do it. Get in touch with him, and Dr. Ashraf also is doing that. So I would suggest that Mr. Rajendran is well placed to connect, and I will be also bringing in some more eminent personality to address. So thank you very much. Wish you Rajendran, you want to say something?
No. Thanks for the suggestion from your sir, and we are working on that. Definitely, we will look forward to speakers from various parts of the world, especially non-Tamil speakers.
Absolutely.
Yes. We are working on that.
Excellent.
Ashraf is helping us also with a couple of speakers.
Not only non-speaking, but other nations also. We have a Chinese lady whom I'm trying to contact. Sandika, you've been able to...
I've already sent an email, sir. I'm just waiting for the response.
That
somebody from Ireland
is
interested.
Surprise you. Yeah, go ahead. I think we're getting
your
MP.
I'll send you everything by Monday. Last week I was a bit busy, sir.
No. Your MP. Hugh McDermott.
Hugh McDermott. I've already spoken to him.
He is somebody who is great in Australia.
Yeah.
And the Chinese lady expert in Tamil will come and talk to us in Tamil.
Yes.
So
I've already sent
not a question of non-speaking Tamil, but it's a question of people across the various nations. That was the beauty once he did that for us in Liverpool. I was amazed. Brilliant presentation. Relating it to Confucius, So we will continue our exploring the different personalities in the field. Right?
Thanks.
Thank you. So thank you very much, Mikka Nandri. And you'll get the invitation for the next conference in due course. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Vanakkam.
Thank you.
Thank you, Partha. Thank you.
Thank you,
Rajendran, sir.